Welcome to the jungle and the Week 9 vlog. Congratulations! We have now made it past the halfway point with only 6 weeks left to go. The first half of this year has been absolutely nuts, filled with an overabundance of hot streaks, realistic downfalls, and pretty much mediocre play everywhere else. Here are a few of my favorite highlights so far. Johnny, starting off 5-0, thinks he's God's gift to Earth, makes a vlog, and then loses 3 straight. Kenny, starting off 3-0, makes a vlog, and then loses 5 straight. This is actually the first time Kenny scored over 100 points since September. Madge, starting off 0-4, makes a trade with yours truly, and neither of us have lost since. Snake, literally flip-flopping wins and losses every week with the most basic and boring team of all time. And lastly, my absolute masterclass on how to manage a fantasy team, leading my squad to a 5-game win streak and becoming the most dominant team in the league. But today, you are in luck. The fantasy wizard himself, the OG commissioner, the 2018 champ, the BMJR, will share one piece of fantasy advice with every single one of y'all for free. Yes, you heard that right. The Robin Hood of PKT Sunday Ticket is here to save the day. So grab a chair, mute the TV, get out a notepad, and be prepared to get educated. First off, we have the lone 2-16 Milk Daddy JD. I know a lot of you are counting my old roomie out here, but do not count your chickens before they hatch. This guy has been constantly getting fucked with over 100 to 200 more points against than the rest of y'all, while sitting in the top 6 most points scored this year. I am so confident in my fellow JD brethren. I'll bet anyone here $20 he does not get Butler this year. Anyway, Milton, I think you know what to do. Actually, probably not. So, you are set at running back, but you desperately need wide receivers, and you cannot wait for Debo and or Jamar to come back. Step 1 is going to be to drop Sam Ehlinger, drop one of your defenses, and pick up 2 brand new wide receivers off waivers immediately. You have the number 1 waiver, which, in case you don't know, means you could literally have whoever you want. So make a fucking move. Step 2 is to shop Debo and or Jamar right now to a playoff team for some immediate value. Now, this is going to take some legwork from you, Milton, and it will not be easy. But this is do or die time for you, so let's get it. Prove to the boys you want to be here. Next up, we have the 3-5 and the 4-4 teams. Now, I am grouping these guys together because none of y'all are safe, including you, Yams, in 5th place. This is the closest our league has ever been. Well, outside of clearly the top 2 teams in the league, but I cannot wait to see how this finishes out. First off, we have Tim. Tim. You really have got the short end of the stick this year, but I do not feel bad for you. I told you to trade CMC in week 5. And also in week 6. And in week 7. And in week 8. But now I hear you're potentially making moves? All right. Better late than never, I guess. But you make this trade, Tim, I promise you, everything will turn around. You can get whoever you want. Just don't be greedy and make it happen within the next 2 days. 75% of your team has already been on bye, and you are 1 2-for-1 trade away from being a serious contender. Bite the bullet and make it happen. For the record, though, I do think you have the absolute worst team, Tim. Next up, we got Deets. I get it, man. I know that you're afraid to play Jamal Williams, and you'll get ripped off if you ever try to trade him. But there is seriously zero doubt that he is an every week starter. So here's what you got to do, man. What you got to do, you got to trade Mixon today. for a baller wide receiver one. You'll start Jamal the rest of the year, and you'll never be shorthanded on a bye. Don't become a prisoner to the projections. And this is advice a lot of y'all can heed. Now, remember, the trade deadline is November 19th. This is the only week, Beats, you have to move Mixon, or you're fucked. Kenny, I know we just did that blockbuster trade, which was great, and I know that you're still dealing, but do not take your foot off the gas. I love the immediate flip you made with Palmer, but you gotta keep going. This is the best week you've had since week 2, and truthfully, this is the best looking team you've had all season. So keep your foot on the gas, flip that pathetic 5-game losing streak you're currently building, and please, Kenny, please stop blaming injuries for your team sucking. We all get injuries, so sack the fuck up. Next up, we got my boy Snizzy Snake Rogers. Jacob, we've talked about your team ad nauseum. I don't even know what to do anymore. It looks good on paper, but it sucks. I do tip my hat to you, though, because your effort has been growing exponentially. But yikes. Unfortunately, I do think this is the team you're going to have to roll with. You have absolutely like no one worth trading besides maybe Waddle. But truth of the matter is, Jacob, you need to get way better and way more aggressive on picking up players. You've had Russell Gage for 3 weeks? Why? Derek Carr since the draft? What? Step one for you is to clear house. Drop these guys and pick up 2 new players immediately. And guess what? Next week, you'll probably drop those guys that you just picked up for 2 new guys. But that's what you got to do. You need to have at least 10 to 15 more pickups before the end of the year and pray that you get lucky. It's what everybody else does all the time. You got 2 really tough bye weeks coming up this week in week 11. Are you prepared? Chop, chop. Jamie, the punching bag of the league. This is so easy for you, Jamie. It's all you got to do. You just got to start focusing on your team and nothing else. Stop worrying about making custom profile pics for your squad. Stop posting in the message board to get free medals. Stop picking up players to make a cool team name. You almost blew it last week by benching Pitts, but the gods will not always be in your favor. Focus, my guy. Focus. Oh yeah, congrats on finally getting the Diamond League or whatever in Yahoo, but try winning a championship. Chuck, y'all know the deal with Chuck. He either wins the championship or he doesn't make playoffs at all. And as of right now, I have to think we are leaning towards the latter. Sitting at 4-4 with a very hit or miss team, which, aside from Jalen, which per my draft grades, Chuck, was the best pick of the draft, hands down, but you know the rest of your team is spotty as fuck. You need to act quick. Like, you can't trade Davante Adams this week, but you could have traded him after he dropped 25 points. You know the Raiders suck. You know you don't want him. So what are you waiting for? The 2-time champ has an average team, and he knows it. And please, Chuck, please, it's getting embarrassing now. You have to throw in the towel on Akers already, dude. He's done. And also, I don't blame you for snoozing during that Rams-Niners game on Sunday. Easy money for Shanahan and the boys. Next up is my new favorite team. I call them the Beauty Boys. A lot of y'all should be taking notes here. This is the only other team that I know of that is not afraid to trade everybody on their team. Like I said earlier, this squad, they weathered the Dak injury, they made some pickups, made some trades, got Dak back, and bam! Now the second biggest powerhouse in the league. But for the sake of fulfilling my Robin Hood duties, though, I'm sure you already know, here you go. What you got to do, you got to play Geno during Bye's back week, and then you have to trade him immediately in week 10 to any of the 6 or 8 teams in our league without a quarterback. This is the easiest scalp of all time for a wide receiver 2 for all those future buys coming up. But truthfully, y'all can fuck off and just lose some games already. Next up, my neighbor, Yams. Have you ever had a good team name? Well, congrats on waiting on DJ Moore, but here you are, middle of the pack, 4-4 with everybody else. You survived Herbert's bye week with ease, and I know you're feeling like $1 million, but guess what? You played Tim. You need to be a wolf, Yams, not a sheep, and get to trading with these bottom of the barrel guys. You have an awesome bench. It's time to trim that fat and build a dynasty. I expect much better from you, Mr. P. Pepper, 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 pepper. My latest opponent. Extremely valiant effort last week, Pepper. I mean, I wake up on Sunday just to see your London boys balling out, but as everybody saw, it was no match for the simpletons. Nothing against you. I'm just that guy. But you already know what your problem is. You got a bunch of mediocre wide receivers. You are living and dying by Michael Thomas's availability. Sure, hopefully Cordell Patterson comes back soon, but realistically, you need to flip him or Walker for a solid wide receiver today. Walker's stock is through the roof. It's got his bye week approaching. But frankly, you're running out of time. Whatever you do, Pepper, do not try to run into playoffs with Zay Jones and Romeo Doubs. Please, I'm begging you. P.S. Sorry you had to drop 143 on me and lose. uh, last but not least, we got the upper tier teams. These are the teams with over a 50% win rate. They might feel comfy and secure, but they are just as vulnerable as the rest of y'all. So, Blim, want to watch what I say here since, he is my current opponent and I believe in jinxes. But when I think of Blim's team, I think of one word: stacks. Stacks, 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 stacks. This league is all about stacks, something that a lot of y'all know nothing about. Blim, you're sitting near the top and you have a once in a lifetime opportunity if you're willing to take it. You got one of the most lethal stacks in the game, Burrow and Chase, just waiting for you. Make it happen. First off, you could hook Milton up, stash Chase, and ride into playoffs with one of the best teams in the league. Now, I know you got the Wizard this week and everything, but looking forward, you got Kenny, you got Tim, you got Dietz to finish out the year. Don't you think you can cruise in the playoffs while stashing Chase? Come on, dog. Fun fact about Jonathan Taylor, though, he had 30 points in week one, and over the next 7 weeks, he had 38 points combined. Yikes. I guess that first pick curse is alive and well. Xavi, my predecessor. This is a classic example of what happened last year. You were so attached to CMC because you drafted him and you refused to trade him while your team was shitting the bed. Well, guess what? It's happening all over again right now with Justin Jefferson. Dude, do not become married to your draft picks. You got to trade Jefferson right now for a 2-for-1 or just trade him to like CMC. You can't let your team keep slipping. And by the way, like no one fears your team like at all. Last but not least, we got my guy, the Don, which I also have to watch what I say here because I don't want to piss off La Familia. But Alfred, you need to focus on weeks 14 through 17. See if you could scalp some decent free agents and then possibly maybe try to trade Eckler for Diggs before the trade deadline. Obviously, this is assuming Eckler regresses and you can find another RB. But if you go into playoffs with Diggs and Allen, cookies. I know you just said Sunday when you saw me that you'll never trade, but I'm starting to think that you might change your mind next week when you slip out at first place to your boy. But yeah, man, I just want to, give Alfred his flowers. Well done this year, bro. Killer team. You're pretty much stacked. But I got a question for y'all. Will Josh Allen be a top 15 pick next year? I think so. Well, anyways, that's it, folks. If you want any future advice, it's $5 per question. My Venmo handle is at tshoot8, or the full fantasy football masterclass will be released next summer for $99.99, and make sure to use promo code BMJR at checkout for 20% out. To close this out, I'm going to give you guys a prediction of the playoff seeding and the Butler as the league stands today. 8th place, Chuck. 7th place, Shab. 6, Yams. 5, Pepper. 4, Beauty Boys. 3, Blim. 2, The Dawn. And 1, yours truly, T Simpleton. And last but not least, Butler will easily go to Tim Burner. If you don't like these projections, I got 3 words for you. Make a move. Trade deadline is in 2 weeks. Anyway, that's it. Good luck to you all this week. I hope you guys have been enjoying my season so far this year. I know I have. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.